Good day and welcome back to the Dispatch with Tom Gandley. Let's open up the Dispatch and see what we've got. In international news, the investigation into the sabotage of the underwater Nord Stream pipelines confirms that the destruction of the natural gas lines between Western Russia and Germany was due to detonations in the Baltic Sea off the coast of Denmark. The damage was not small and is referred to as extensive by investigators. It is unknown who sabotaged the pipelines. Russia is accusing Western conspirators of the act, while some leaders in the West have pointed the finger at Russia itself, saying the act may have been intentional so as to give Vladimir Putin an excuse to engage in retaliatory actions against Europe and the U.S. The methane leaks from the pipes have stopped and travel through the area has resumed, but with winter coming on and several European nations reliant on Russian natural gas for cooking and warmth, the absence of the Nord Stream pipelines will certainly lead to economic struggles and almost certainly winter fatalities if no alternative to this crisis is quickly found. In the U.S., the economy continues to show signs of cracking by degrees. In addition to inflation continuing to hit the people hard, interest rates are up, and with that, spending has retracted, as well as home buying and building. According to website Housing Wire, housing prices are dropping as fast as they were in 2009 during the Great Recession, with the average U.S. home losing $8,800 in value since June. Those numbers are from a report on mortgages by Black Knight. Gasoline prices have also begun to rise again in most of the U.S. as OPEC has agreed to cut production by 2 million barrels a day by next month. Joe Biden has dangerously depleted U.S. oil reserves to keep gas prices lower and earn political brownie points, but the problem is as bad as ever. Additionally, first-time jobless claims came in higher than expected for the week ending September 30th, and unemployment is fully expected to reach 4% or more in the coming months. In the latest episode of misused funds doled out by the Biden administration under the pretense of the American Rescue Plan during the recent COVID hysteria and paranoia, $150,000 found its way to a transgender dance studio in San Francisco. But rather than buying new pointe shoes and tutus, the money is being used on classes teaching breathing exercises to people of color to deal with, quote, white people's BS, along with other racist and racially charge-driven activities. The money was generously provided to the dance studio for the gender nonconforming folks by the National Endowment for the Arts out of the $150 million they received. The studio, calling itself Fresh Meat Productions, promotes its mission of lifting up trans and gender nonconforming artists as agents of change. But with the racist, hateful nature of the class mentioned here, is that a change we truly want to see? Biden's American Rescue Plan is not totally, but largely responsible for the 40-year high inflation rate. In Salem, Oregon, a group of Antifa thugs were stopped in their latest attempt at incivility, targeting the good patrons of the Honky Tonk Bar. Before their plan kicked off, though, their vandalism and intimidation ran headlong into a small group of bikers. Even Antifa leader Clifford Rodriguez was present, but once things got confrontational, he, along with the rest of the smarmy horde, began dispersing rapidly. A few involved came to blows with Antifa, which led to their breaking off contact and skedaddling. No injuries were reported. Corey Martin of Utah was arrested recently in Springville on charges of reckless burning, which scorched about 60 acres east of that city. Utah County sheriffs also charged Martin with possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia, which might explain a lot, because when questioned as to how the fire was started, Martin told police the fire began when he was attempting to kill a spider with his cigarette lighter, but instead ignited the dry brush the spider fled into. The spider's fate is unknown. And for those of us old enough to remember the great film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Louise Fletcher, the actress who portrayed the imperious, catty, and conniving Nurse Mildred Ratched, passed away in her sleep in France, where she had been living. Born in Alabama in 1934, Fletcher took up acting a bit later in life and struggled due to both her age and size. At 5'10", she was almost immediately dismissed from many roles because she was taller than her leading men. Her performance as Nurse Ratched earned her an Oscar in 1974, and some of you may recall how from the acceptance podium she thanked both her parents in sign language, they having been deaf since she was born. Unknown to her at the time was that she was chosen for her role after it was turned down by famous actresses Anne Bancroft, Ellen Burstyn, and Angela Lansbury. She is survived by her 2 sons, whom she quit acting to raise for 11 years, which she never regretted. Fletcher was 88 years old. And just in case you missed it, if your parents are telling you to get off the sofa and get a job because you sit around too much eating sweets, this might be your opportunity to do both at one fell swoop. Candy Funhouse, a Canadian business, is seeking a Chief Candy Officer, or CCO. Described as an online retailer of confectionery treats, Funhouse's CCO will be responsible for testing candies produced at the factory for freshness, tastiness, and will give his opinion on the marketability of new products. According to CEO Jamal Hijazi, there are no real job requirements other than being passionate about confections and sweets. The CCO is apparently the head taste tester at Funhouse Candy. The company makes chocolate bars, gummy novelties, and licorice. Before you run to LinkedIn and submit a resume, know that the job entails eating about 100 candies a day, or about 3,500 a month. Brad, could you handle doing that? I don't know. Anybody over the age of 5 can apply, with mom and dad's permission, of course. The job pay, get this, is $78,000 a year and has a free dental plan. I kid you not. I hope they also cover prescriptions for insulin later in life. Anyway, thank you for being a part of the Dispatch with Tom Gandley on Resilience Talk Network. Please continue to follow Resilience Talk Network for great information on the Dispatch and Freedom's Herald, as well as uplifting podcasts about overcoming life's obstacles and trials. Thanks for listening.